Sure. Let me see. Testing. All right, most thanks. All right, Shalom Israel. Shalom Bashim Sharakatham to the brothers. Shalom Hashmalah Bashim Yashai to the sisters. We at the Isupk Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. We are not affiliated with any other Hebrew Israelite group. We've been teaching the truth since 1969 that all so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are God's chosen people. Now today is Tuesday, it's going to be the Brotherhood class, right? Now, we're going to be going over a couple things, right? Before we even get into Brotherhood, there's one very big thing that you should understand. You should know your enemy. That's going to be the title of today's class, right? Because if you don't know who your enemy is, you don't know who your allies are. See, the thing is with a lot of so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we seek allyship from other nations. And honestly, you give way too much credit to Esau, or as you know him today, the so-called white man. You look for handouts. You go to your job. You think that's your friend because I don't know, Steve invited you to the barbecue or something, that unseasoned chicken. I don't know. But, you think that's your friend. What's crazy? They think your friend is somebody you grew up with. The thing is, a lot of us all grew up with people, all types of people, right? I guarantee you half the people you grew up with, you don't even remember them no more. They don't remember you. A lot of them, some of y'all might not want to admit it, were probably heathens, right? They weren't really your friend. You were just in the same proximity as each other. Y'all used to go hoop together. Right. Or y'all used to play football or something together. Or y'all, I don't know, for girls, I don't know, y'all painting each other's nails or something. I don't know. But that wasn't really your friend. All right? You need to know who your real friends are, who your real enemy is as well. Let me get that real quick. Ecclesiastes Salakia, 12 and 13.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus.
12 and 10, Salakia.
Chapter 12, verse 10.
Go ahead.
Never trust thine enemy.
It says what?
Never trust thine enemy.
I thought God loved everybody.
Never trust thine enemy.
Keep going.
For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
So is his wickedness. Now, you got to understand who your enemy is. See, okay. All right, I'll talk about it. We've all heard that term, black on black crime, right? Everybody's heard black on black crime. First of all, that term within itself is actually racist, because when a Caucasian man unalives another Caucasian man, we just call it murder.
Right.
When an Asian man or woman unalives another Asian person, it's just a crime, right? But when we do it, it's, that's black on black crime.
Right.
I got into it with somebody not that long ago, and I was going over, of course, how the basic stuff like police brutality, how a lot of white people get away with unaliving black people and, pretty much just getting away with it. And also, when white people in America commit a crime, statistically, they are served shorter sentences than black people. I brought all this stuff up, and then, of course, it was, well, what about black on black crime, though? Statistically, it's actually more black people that kill more black people than it is white people. The truth is, that is true. But why is that, though? Why is it that you see a lot of so-called black people in America unaliving each other?
Right.
Well, really, it's because you're brainwashed. I know some people are like, no, that's not what it is. People will argue, we're not slaves anymore. We should just get over it. Okay, we're in a different time now. We're not in shackles. You don't have to behave this way. Okay, that sounds good. Here's the problem, though. What are you constantly being fed all the time? It's the same BS all the time. Think about it. Black people in America have the most influential culture in the entire world. There's so many different nations that try to mimic what we do, right?
Right.
Now, what do, though? Sadly, a lot of us are famous for gangbanging culture, unaliving each other, sleeping with each other's wives, prostitution, sisters just being unholy. Good night. I mean, Black women get fetishized for walking around half naked all the time. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't other people that do this in the world, but when it comes to black people in America, we are like the epitome of that. We get the stereotypes and so on and so forth. What people need to understand is, just like anything else in this world, certain things are influential. Media is influential. Social media is influential. Music is very influential. And when you really think about it, what have you been listening to your whole life? Majority of us. You grow up, you listen to rap, and most of the time they talking about doing some wicked things, but we sing along, go along with it because it's just music, right? It's music. Some of us, thankfully were smart enough and had good parenting that we didn't fall under that spell, as you will.
Right.
But a lot of us, we did. We thought that it was okay to have sex with another man's wife, to have sex with your brother's wife. A lot of sisters think that it is okay to be a promiscuous woman, and it's okay. Nowadays, I mean, you literally can get paid for it, right? This is a culture that is being fed to us, right? But who's the ones that are usually showing this? It's usually black people, right? Well, here's the thing. Who owns these companies? Who owns Atlanta Records? Who owns all these music industries that your favorite artists work for? A lot of them are actually white Jewish people. You understand? And it's already been stated multiple times that they control everything that is there, and they follow suit. Matter of fact, I'm about to read some right now, right? I'm glad I saved this. Okay, so I got a perfect example for you right here. So a lot of people know who Cardi B is. So Cardi B is currently signed to Atlantic Records and Warner Music Group. Now, who owns Atlantic Records and Warner Music Group? When you look, there's a little bit of like subdivisions in it. You got Universal Music Group and you have Capitol Music Group. Now, these are the CEOs of these groups. You got Lucian Grange, who's a white man. He's white, old white man, right? You got another one. Her name is, probably butchering her name, Michelle Jubilier, who is, again, a white woman. Now, these are people that are running like they are in charge. I want you to understand. These are white people who run these industries. And it's already been stated that in these industries, what are they allowed to do? They're allowed to control the narrative. Oh, here it is right here. Robert, I think it's Kinkle, Warner Music Group, Jewish. Every single time. Now you got to wonder, well, why is this? Why is this? Why is it that our music gets polluted so much? You think it's just black people running the show? No. Most of the time, these rappers and artists don't even own the masters to their own degrees. That's like the masters to their music. So they are controlled. It's been stated that whatever label you work for, they can control your music. They can control the lyrics. They can control the presentation. So you got all these white people who own all these industries, and you have all these black people right under them. And look how they're portraying themselves. A lot of these sisters rapping about the same thing over and over and over again.
Right.
How good they box is. Sloppy, the water. How good they box is. How sexual they are. How being a promiscuous woman in America is to be glorified. Some of them straight up just get naked. I mean, just literally, they just get naked. They just know how to angle it just right that they're not showing anything too derogatory so they can get away with it. It's not rated R, it's PG-13. Just good enough that your child can see that.
Right.
But it's funny. You think that music is influential. Okay. Well, who was it? It was Cardi B, actually. Now, since we're talking about her, she straight up said that she will not allow for her daughter to listen to any of her music or watch any of her music videos. And apparently, her daughter wants to be a doctor. And they're pushing for it. I'm like, dang, okay. Why is she doing that? Oh, wait, that's right. Because she knows that if her daughter sees this, she's going to end up being the same way. So she'll protect her daughter, but she ain't going to protect you. She knows what she's doing because she serves the so-called white man. That's why it's good to know who your enemy is. Read from the top one more time, Bible Kashar, Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10.
The book of Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy.
Never trust thine enemy.
For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
So is his wickedness. Meaning you're not about to see his wickedness right up front. It's slow. It could happen right in front of you, and it just ages, and you don't even know any more on that.
Verse 11. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away.
All right, so that's it on that, right? Meaning what? You need to understand who your enemy is. Because here's the thing with Esau. Esau is the most subtle beast of the field. We've been saying that forever.
Right.
It's because you're not going to know. Like, okay, I say this all the time. The best predators out there in the world are the ones that either work together or the ones that know how to let your guard down.
Right.
Why chase after you when they can just lure you right in?
Right.
Think about it. A lot of these music artists, let's be real right now. They come from the ghettos, right? Just like a lot of us. They might come from a different country.
Right.
Didn't have the greatest education, but they had a God-given talent. They could rap, they could sing, they could dance, whatever. So now these industries, they see that. They say, oh, okay, you're very talented, but you're not that smart.
Right.
So that means that we can manipulate you.
Right.
We'll give you all the riches. We'll give you all the money, all the women, all the cars, the clothes. You can go to all these fancy places, and you can have all that. You can have the life. All you got to do is sign your life away.
Right.
That's all you got to do. And guess what? They're going to do it. Why wouldn't they? They come from the ghettos. They got roaches everywhere. They probably don't even have a bed to sleep in. A lot of us come from broken homes. So, of course, they're going to go over there. Because they're like, well, I mean, I'm not going to go back to what I was doing before. So, yeah.
Right.
A lot of them going to do something a little strange for a piece of change behind closed doors to get what they want. And they don't care. When the Isupk and the Commander Junior Hana come about and we say that women should cover up, they're going to look at us and scoff because they're like, oh, no, the fighting and bopping is how I got here. So I'm going to keep doing it. We tell brothers that you need to get off drugs. You need to stop selling drugs to your community. Guess what's going to happen? They're going to look at you and scoff like, oh, I'm not about to do that.
Right.
I'm about to still do this. I'm about to trap. I'm about to have sex with all these women. I don't care who they belong to. I'm not going to use no protection. I don't care because I'm living my life. What do they say? I'm living my truth.
Right.
That's what they say, right? But not knowing that truth that they live in is really a lie, all right? Because they don't know who their enemy is. And because they don't know who their enemy is, they don't realize that they are taking part in destroying their own community, right? We always complain as Israel, right, that we're oppressed. Now, here we know the truth. We know that we need to follow the law, statutes, and commandments, right? In these law, statutes, and commandments, let me get John 13:34. We'll read something to you real quick, right? We always go over this. We know that love is an action, right? Anybody who's been watching the classes, as you should know this right now, right? But we're going to read John 13:34. Go ahead.
The book of John, chapter 13, verse 34. A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another.
That ye love one another. Go ahead.
As I have loved you, that ye also love one another.
Any more on that?
Verse 35.
Keep going. By
this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if ye have love one to another.
Right. Let me get 1 John 4:20. So you gotta love one another. That's brotherhood. That's sisterhood, right? Like the sad part is a lot of these brothers and sisters in the world, they don't know what true love is. Like they don't really know. They think love is just a feeling. It just makes you feel good. Oh, I love you. No, love is an action, man. Now, if you really loved your people as you say you do, you would do everything in your power to help your people, right? Here in the Isupk and the Commander Junior Hana, we have brothers and sisters from all walks of life. We're not rich in money necessarily, but we are rich in faith. You already know that one. All right. But the point is, what we do have, we try to make the most of it. All right. We understand that we heard a higher calling. We understood that the Most High made himself known unto us for a reason, and he saved us.
Right.
That's love. So in return, we're going to show our love to the Most High. But you get 1 John 4:20.
The book of 1 John chapter 4, verse 20. If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother,
go ahead.
he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother, whom he hath seen, how can he love God, whom he have not seen?
Exactly. How can you sit here and say, as a so-called Black, Latino, or Native American, that you love your people, you love your community, you love your wife, you love your husband, your kids, your friends, your brothers, your sisters, whatever.
Right.
You say you love everybody, but what are you doing to show that you truly love your people? What are you doing? Ask yourself that. Here in the Isupk and the Commander General Yohana, we know what we are doing. We are proving that we love our people, that we love the Most High. A lot of people say they love God. Do you really love God? Because how can you sit here and say that you love the Most High, but you hateth your brother? The Lord calling you a liar. You're a liar. You don't really love your brothers. You don't really love your sisters. If you're not protecting them, I'm not afraid to say it. A lot of our people don't like to hold accountability for their actions.
Right.
They like to just do whatever they want and not worry about the repercussions. We think, okay, for brothers, this is like the big one we talk about the most, right? Drug dealing. You think that it's okay because, you're trying to make a bag. You're trying to get some money. I get it. It's expensive out here. I know. And who knows? You might have a family of your own, right? Now you're trying to provide for your family. Let's say you got laid off the job, or maybe the job ain't providing enough for you. So you sell a little something on the side. And you sell it to your community, right? Now, realistically, you shouldn't be selling it to anybody, but most of the time, brothers sell it to their own people, right?
Right.
Now, you can sit here. Imagine this. You say you love your wife, right? You love your wife. You want to protect your wife. You want to spend the rest of your life with her. All that good stuff, right? But then you drug deal into a woman, not knowing that woman is somebody else's wife. That's somebody's mother, auntie, sister, grandbaby. You don't know. You're destroying her life. But what do you care? You don't care because all you care about is yourself. I don't know her. What do I got to do for her? It's crazy. A lot of other nations, you want to know why a lot of other nations, they thrive? It's because they have a sense of morality for their people. They know who their people are. All right. China, I guess you could say they love their people. They're kind of weird, but they love their people enough to be, the term is called homogeneous. A homogeneous society is pretty much, how would they say, like, they all look alike? It's because they know, like, hey, these are my people, so I'm going to stay with them. Right. That's it. You go to Japan, I'll tell you right now, you go to Japan, if you are not Japanese, like you're of Japanese descent, you will always be a foreigner.
Right.
That's how, this won't sound weird, that's how brotherly they are. They're like, yeah, you could be in our land, but at the end of the day, you still not one of us. You could be born and raised there, speak the language, probably speak it better than some of them. Doesn't matter.
Right.
You still not one of them. That's another problem with Black people. You're too accepting of other people that are not your people. That's the problem with Latinos. You're too accepting of other people that are not your people. But you are so quick to turn your back on your own people for the dumbest reasons at that. All the time. You know how Black people like to give out the black card? This should be like this should be no card to give.
Right.
You think because Aaron done became Aaron now, and now he can hoop with you.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, the white boy, he good at basketball. Yeah, he Black now. We used to see that stuff all the time. Now he your boy.
He can dance.
He can dance. He can do a jig. He can sing a little bit. Like, oh, he's not like the others.
Right.
Now he's one of us, to the point you let him say the N-word.
Right.
And realistically, a lot of y'all don't even like that, which you shouldn't, because it's all fun and games until they say it in a tone that you don't like.
Right.
Now it's whoa, don't do that. Calm down here. We don't need that. Calm down, Steve, Nathaniel. We don't need none of that. All right. You got to excuse him when you bring him around your homeboys. Like, hey, don't worry, he cool. He cool.
Right.
Like, we all seen him before. You letting this man up into your community, not knowing that he is the devil that the Bible speaks of.
Right.
You don't understand that, man. That's because you don't know who your enemy is, and you don't know how to love your people. I'm going to talk about something real quick. Just recently, I just found this out. So let me read it real quick. I screenshotted it. So this happened in Philly, right? So in Philly, there was an incident. So it says new photos show face of motorcyclist wanted for smashing car window while children were inside. So for those of y'all who might have not known already, sadly it was a how do I say it? Rainbow couple? Can I say that? I don't even know if I can say that. Yeah, let's just go with rainbow couple. These were still our people though, right? So I guess the sister, I believe her name was, let me get her name. It was Nikki something. Nikki Bullock, that's her name. So I guess she was like an Uber Eats driver. Now she's driving through Philly, and she had two children in the back, a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and she was delivering for Uber Eats when the incident occurred. Now, as she's driving, there was a biker group that was driving by. I don't know what was happening. I think maybe she was moving too slow. There was some traffic, whatever. It looked like a young group too, right? Probably some teenagers. Well, what ended up happening is he had a motorcycle helmet on. He looked like an Edomite. I'm not entirely sure, but regardless, this boy got up, got so frustrated, sideswiped the car, right? You know, there's children in here. Got on the back of the car, like stood on the car, and jumped and stomped through the back window. All the glass in him hit the kids. That ain't even the worst part. So, of course, she get out the car. She like, what the heck is going on? So he hops up, a pistol fall down. He grabs the pistol, aims it at her. Now, I'm bugging out now because I'm like, people are trying to find excuses like, oh, you know, well, that's just Philly. That's just how Philly is. That's how the hood is, man. Bump all that. There were so many black people, mostly black men, that were standing around, right? Didn't even try to help.
Right.
Like this boy, like, okay, gotta get this. This is her. This is the gun. She's right there. Nobody did anything. They just let it happen. And I'm like, what if you would have shot her right there? And the fact that there were kids, like you did all that for what? Then of course she get aggressive and stuff. Now, Shalom Lord Christ. She get aggressive or whatever. And now the dude with the helmet, he headbutts her with the helmet. I'm like, what is this? Still, nobody's doing anything. They're just watching it all happen. His boys start surrounding her. I'm like, dang, I'm like, we can't deliver Uber Eats now? Like, they always make black people the villain, but I'm like, she was just doing her job. What's going on here? So anyway, he does all that, says, you know, whatever. I don't know. In the video, you can't really hear what they're saying. I guess like a tourist ended up getting the video. And everybody just drives off. They had to get the kids out the car. They crying. There was like blood on them and stuff. And I just couldn't sit here. I couldn't help but sit here. A lot of the people that were around him were other black people. Didn't even try to check if she was okay, check the children, nothing. They just rolled on by. I'm like, that's brotherhood? How can you say you love your people when you just watched that happen and you didn't do anything? Anything. You could have at least checked up on her. Like, at the very least. Check on the kids, something. Pull your homeboy aside and be like, hey, bro, you tripping. Y'all didn't do anything and just rolled on. And people's excuses, well, that's just Philly. That's not supposed to be our culture, man. Our culture is supposed to be loving each other, man.
Right.
That's what's really supposed to be happening. So, like, let me see if I can get something real quick. Let me get Ephesians 4:32. That's not supposed to be our culture. And it's sad that it's gotten that bad that we don't even look at another black or so-called Latino next to us and think like, yeah, that's my brother. Because we're so destroyed. Go ahead.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 32.
Go ahead.
And be ye kind to one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another.
Right.
Even as God, for Christ's sake, have forgiven you.
Has forgiven you. Think about that. A lot of y'all who are not in the schools, I know there's people that watch these classes, you're not in the class. Look, get your behind in class before it's too late, okay? Right. You never know when your time is up. Salakia. The Lord has forgiven us time and time and time and time and time again, man. And still you choose to disobey, but pray to him in your time of need. All right? The Lord wants you to love your people, man, but y'all don't understand the concept of what love really is. You so busy loving the oppressor's ways. I'm going to say something, right? This might trigger some people. I don't really care. Black people are culture vultures. I know it's like, what?
That's true.
Like, what do you mean by that? I'm gonna tell you what. Gangbang culture, Italians.
Right.
That mafia, they were doing the first drive-bys. I see them old Scarface movie with the Tommy guns and all that. They were doing that stuff.
Right.
Drug dealing, white people.
Right.
It's them. That's what they do. Okay. Muslims, oh good night. Don't even get me started on that mess, man. Black people, y'all are not Muslim. Okay, I know it hurts. Y'all don't understand that these Middle Eastern and Arabic people, they forced that on you during slavery. We talk about so-called white man a lot. You don't understand that there were other nations that had you in slavery. You're a Muslim because that religion was forced on you.
Right.
All right, and you don't even realize it. That what is it? The Queen of Sheba, not Slovakia. It's something Slovakia. It's something that like Caribbeans do. Like y'all be worshiping like these Indian gods. What is it? The dreadlocks. That's not our culture, man. Braids are, yes, but that's not your culture, man. But you just go on about your day because you don't know no better. And I understand it's not really your fault though, because a lot of us, we were miseducated. That's why we're here. It's why it's practical knowledge. We're here to teach you. We're here to teach you what real love is. Okay, all that shooting and all that stuff. That's not our culture, man. And it's sad that we're famous for that.
Right.
That we not supposed. You feel like we're not supposed to be like that, man. But the whole world looks at us. Let's see what you got. Kodashiala. If I missed it. Yes, because sentence against evil workers for the heart of the sons of men is fully set to do. Most High in Christ. You pulled out Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. You're right. You're right. All right. It's because a lot of us are wicked, man. We're wicked, and we don't want to be anything else because this is the culture that we have accepted.
Right.
And you don't know who your enemy is, right? And another thing, I guess I can talk about it real quick. You don't have any compassion. That's the word I'm looking for. You don't have compassion for your people, right? We are so quick to tear down each other for the dumbest reasons, right? Don't even get me started on black men in America. We get demonized for everything. I'm not saying every black man out there is, you're a saint, put it like that, right? But I will say there are a lot of brothers out there who try to do well, try to provide for his family, try to be a good father, try to do a lot of things, right? And it's sad to say that, and they said it, this is crazy because a black woman said this. She said, a black man's biggest op is not a cop. It's not the white man. It's a black woman. I said, that's cold. Now, of course, not all sisters are like this. We know this, but sadly, that's how it's been looking. They say a black woman's biggest op is another black woman because we hate on each other. We'll drag each other down for what? For what? Because you don't like them? For what? I don't understand. But we'll gas up people who are just absolute garbage. I am so sick and tired of going on the internet and I keep hearing about Blueface and Krishan. Salakia, if y'all don't be quiet about that mess, nobody cares. Okay, he's a horrible father who brought strippers into his household with his 5-year-old son. And when his 5-year-old son, y'all look it up yourself, I'm not making this stuff up. His 5-year-old son went into the kitchen because he's a child. He wants chips. He wants chips. I think literally that's what he went to go get too. Chips. I really think he went to go get chips. His father walked up to him and was questioning his sexuality.
Right.
I'm like, this is a child. This boy want to eat chips, drink Capri Sun, and play Pokemon. You think he worried about whatever it is you got going on in there? That's already wicked, first of all. But you're introducing your child to that? But his sisters, they love Blueface. I don't know why. I think something's wrong with you. I don't know. But you like that. A lot of you brothers, you say you want a woman who can cook and clean and who's there for you and who's modest. But then you feed into women like Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, who's the other one? Sweetie, Sexy Red, Glorilla. Like, y'all like that. I don't, hey, to each his own. You like what you like, I guess. But then you promote that type of behavior. That's not love. We should not be endorsing our women to be like that. Because all you're doing is doing what the enemy's doing to us. They demonize our women, so now you demonizing women. Sisters, you should let's see what you got out. If I may, sir, sometimes a woman and so-called friends and family and our people be the biggest ops. Well, yeah, sometimes that is a thing. All right. When you come into the truth, you understand that. What is it? Matter of fact, you mean Matthew 10? You know which one I want.
Separate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, you want to say it.
Matthew 10. I'll start 34.
Yeah, go ahead.
The book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 34. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth.
Right.
I came not to send peace, but a sword. Mm-hmm. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
Now we can stop right there, right? This is a brotherhood class, right?
Right.
So why are we talking about separating? That shouldn't be what we're talking about, right?
Right.
Well, here's the thing. Christ does want division, right? From your enemies. A real friend, like we just read earlier in John, what was it, 13? We read earlier that I'm paraphrasing, you were given a new commandment, and it's to love your brother.
Right.
Put it simple for you, right? Love your people, right? You are supposed to love your people. Because if you love your people, you love Christ. If you love Christ, you love the Most High. You see how it all just kind of like works up? It's all connected, right? But if you hate your people, if you're a Judas, right? If you're a King Saul, I hate bringing him up because he's from my tribe, Slakia. But he was just unbrotherly, Slakia. Unbrotherly, man, right? Tried to kill King David multiple times. Judas gave up Christ for shekels of silver.
30 shekels.
30. 30 shekels. You gave up the Son of Man for 30 shekels.
Right.
Crazy. And he paid his price because he realized what he did was so awful. He himself, right?
Yeah.
But keep reading, Bishop.
Verse 36. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Uh-huh. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me.
Now, this might sound kind of weird, right? But wait, you talking about loving your people, but Christ is saying, if you love them more than me, you're not worthy of me.
Right.
So where's he going with this? Keep going on.
Verse 38. And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me.
Right.
He that findeth his life shall lose it. And he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it.
So this is talking about what I was talking about earlier, right? There's a lot of brothers and sisters who didn't have nothing, but then you got into the world and now you got money, you got clothes, you got cars, you got women, you got all this stuff, right? But you lose your soul. You lose your soul. That's why a lot of them celebrities, they be messed up in the head. Look at Kanye, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't know how much longer he got because they gunning for him. It's sad because he know he Israel. He in the world. It's like it. But my point being is a lot of them they mess up in the head. I remember it was Cardi B again? She had a mental breakdown because she, as wicked as she is, she's still Israel, and she had a moment where all she wanted to do was be a mother. I'm like, wait a minute, but you got everything.
Right.
Oh, you love the attention. Obviously, women, women and men both lust after you. I gotta say both because that's really the truth. Right. Your man parades you around, sexualizes the hell out of you.
Right.
You got all the money, you got all the clout, the fame. You have everything, right? But you had a mental breakdown because somewhere in there, as polluted as you are, you still want to be a mother. After everything you got, a mother, huh? Said that she was having a mental relapse and she felt like there was a demon in the house. Like, says you don't understand, the demon is on you.
Right.
You don't even understand. It's like, you got any more on that?
No, sir.
All right, so the whole thing is you start losing your life, right? Because this is what you chased after. But then, it's like, as a matter of fact, could you read the last one you read in verse 10?
Come on, sir.
One more time, Bubba.
The book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 39.
Uh-huh.
Let me start 38.
Yeah.
Verse 38. And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me.
Right.
He that findeth his life shall lose it.
So this is what I'm talking about recently. But what does it say after that?
And he that loseth his life,
right,
for my sake,
there you go,
shall find it.
Shall find it, meaning what? Scriptures say, paraphrasing, should be a fool for Christ. Right? We are fools for Christ.
That's crazy.
We are fools for Christ. Look at me. I'm a fool. I'm a fool. This brother over here, he a fool for Christ. We are fools for Christ. Why, though? Because that's where the real life is. Shalom on Christ, not Isupk. We see you. That's where the real life is. Following what the law, statutes, following the law, statutes, and commandments that the Most High put on for us, that's what the real life is. Because you could be alive and be dead at the same time. I pray you understand. Right? And that's how a lot of you are without the truth, right? That's why all these wicked, evil things keep happening to you, because you don't know no better. You know what's funny? I can talk about it. It kind of relates to what I'm talking about. So another, not really an article, but something that I don't know, the internet never ceases to amaze me. So being on social media, I come across this page. His name was John Romano, and he's a white man. He how I originally saw his videos, he was talking about how he was attacked. I can't make this up. He was attacked by a homeless man with a sword. Can't make this up, right? Got sliced up pretty bad. Was in the hospital. I guess it happened about last year, I think like August 2022. I cannot make this up. Like, he has the video, and sadly, it's a brother. He got a big sword. He just walking with it. The police pull up. They're like, "What happened?" He's like, "I chopped him." I was like, "What the heck?" He said, "Yeah, I chopped him up. Chopped his legs. Chopped his arms." I'm like, "Okay, like, what's going on with this story?" So he keeps going on and on about it. Apparently, sadly, it was a brother, 34 years old, and he was homeless and suffered through mental issues, which sadly a lot of brothers and sisters who are homeless suffer through these things. I'm not sure. I guess they got into an altercation, arguing, and he just lashed out on him, right? Crazy. That same man, John Romano, then comes out after he's getting all this clout about what that man did. He comes out and says, "I'm a school shooter." I sat here, I'm like, nah, ain't no way. And proceeds to go on about his story. So in 2004, he was 16 years old, went into a school and shot up the place. And of course he lied about it, because that's what Esau does. His original story was he went there because he suffered through mental issues, right? And his plan was to go there and pretty much cause a scene, not actually harm anybody, but cause a scene, because he was too cowardly to take his own life, so he wanted somebody else to do it. He was hoping that he would have a run-in with law enforcement, and they would actually be the ones to unalive him, which was a lie, because when you read the article, it turns out that he had a pump shotgun and shot somebody up in the leg, shot somebody's hat off, chased people out of the bathroom with a gun, and even wrestled the principal for the gun. So I'm like, so if you really wanted to let it all go, why you attack all these people?
Right.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. But anyway, right? Thought it was very odd that this man is getting so much praise. It was a little disturbing, actually. I see people in the comment section coddling him, saying that he done such a great thing, that he's rehabilitated, and now apparently, that same man, he works in law enforcement now. Yeah,
this right now.
Yeah,
I just read something like that.
Yes,
I didn't get it, but that's crazy.
Yeah. Like, as I'm reading it, I'm like, what the heck? Slaggy, I've been dying to talk about it all day. Yeah, he works in law enforcement. There are people in the comments saying, "Oh, you should come to our school to teach and stuff." I'm like, this man has over 250K followers, 7 million likes. And I'm like, I never thought that I would see the day where y'all giving a school shooter clout. But you know what? I'm sorry. I shouldn't be surprised, because what has happened every single time? I think, what was it? Peyton Grungen. I think he was the only one that got a life sentence, because what he did was insane. Mm-hmm. But majority of the other ones, they get off easy. Wasn't it one? Was it 2015? Roof something, Slovakia. They brought him to Burger King. That one. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, oh, so at this time, another school shooter, and they got him. They were so nice. They like gently put the handcuffs on him, like walked him to the car, asked him if he was hungry, got a Burger King. This is in 2015.
Was that Dylan Roof?
Yeah.
Dylan, yeah.
Yep. Either one. And I'm like, what? But my point of Salakia, my point of bringing this up is because it amazed me how all these white people still had compassion for this school shooter. And I'm like, this is weird. Because hold on, I know a lot of black people that have done way less.
Way less.
And like, as a matter of fact, I remember somebody in the comment section literally was like, my homeboy got 30 years for a drug charge in possession of marijuana. Now, granted, we shouldn't be doing no crime, right? But this is why we get punished a lot more, because we don't know that we're God's chosen people. But my point being is just like, dang, like, where's the compassion for him? You'll have compassion for the dude with a pump shotgun,
right,
shooting people in the leg. You got him in law enforcement, which is crazy. You got that, but you don't have any compassion for the so-called black man. When, matter of fact, when we shoot, it's black on black crime, right?
Right.
We're called criminals, monsters. All right. What was that same compassion? Oh, remember how I brought up earlier? Statistically, black people serve longer sentences. So, right, go back into this little sword thing. So the brother who slashed the guy up with the sword, he got sentenced. And it was stated that he suffered through mental issues. Same thing as John Romano. Now, when John Romano went to jail, they made sure to bring up his mental issues. Originally, he was supposed to serve a sentence of 20 years. They bumped it down to 15 for good behavior. Guess how long this man got? 25. So I'm like, wait a minute. Why he get a longer sentence? Both wrong. Both suffer from mental illness. So why is it that the white man that like shot somebody got a shorter sentence? Make it make sense. I don't understand. But it just, again, amazed me because what you got?
And he works in law enforcement?
And he works in law enforcement. Yes. His argument is he works with them to prevent any other. Exactly. I can't make this. I can't make this up. I cannot make. This is the world that we live in. Okay. But my whole point being is, it's so odd to me that it's disturbing, really. But his people had so much compassion for him. They wanted to uplift him. They wanted, oh, you served your time. Thank you for speaking out on this. Thank you for bringing mental health awareness. I'm like, that's crazy. Because we don't got that same compassion. Not for our people. We get done way worse. Let you find out something bad about a black man, you'll crucify him.
Right.
Let you find out something about a black woman. A lot of black women will tear her down. Like, we get teared down for it could be a sister. I've seen a sister say, of course, like, she's married and she loves her man. It was another black woman went to the comments and said, oh, you just enjoy being a black man's slave. You're a disgrace. I'm like, what the hell? What? This is the world that we live in. You don't love your people. Not the way you say you do. Salakia. Not the way you say you do. Let me see. Isaiah 49 and you know what? You can start at 12.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 49, verse 12.
Go ahead.
Behold, these shall come from far,
Yep.
and lo, these from the north and from the west, and these from the land of Sinim. Verse 13. Sing, O heavens, and be joyful, O earth, and break forth into singing, O mountains, for the Lord have comforted his people.
Yep.
And will have mercy upon his afflicted.
So the Lord is having mercy on his afflicted, right? Keep going.
But Zion said, the Lord hath forsaken me, and my Lord hath forgotten me.
So this was a time where we were in great distress, and we thought that the Lord had forgotten us and forsaken us, because I mean, rightfully so. We were evil and wicked. So, I mean, who could really blame the Lord? But what does the Lord say after that? Go ahead.
Verse 15. Can a woman forget her sucking child, that she should not have compassion on the son of her womb?
Yep.
Yea, they may forget.
Go ahead.
Yet will I not forget thee.
Yet will I not forget thee. The Lord never forgot you. You forgot the Lord.
Right.
The Lord, like, you know how they say the Lord works in strange ways? No. The Lord works in obvious ways.
Right.
Okay. A lot of y'all think that the Lord is going to talk to you in your head. That's not the Lord. That's odds are 9 times out of 10, that's Satan. Okay. The Lord speaks to you, Salakia, speaks to you through his prophets.
Right.
Okay. When you read the Bible, this is for anybody who likes to take that same argument of, I don't listen to man. Well, guess what? Everywhere in the Bible, there was always a prophet doing the work of the Lord. We had kings, and they still had to listen to a prophet, right? When Saul was said to have eliminated all the, I believe it was the Amalekites, right? We were at war with the Amalekites. And he said, it's like the Lord wanted him to annihilate everybody, but what did Saul do? He wanted to do his own thing, and he wanted to take some of his prisoners. So prophets walked up to him and was questioning him. Why did he not obey the Lord? And he chose to not obey the Lord. And then when he turned, he took a piece of the prophet's garment. So you want to know what happened after that? Saul was cursed. Mm-hmm. And it was said that a better man than him was going to be raised up, and then up came David, right? And there was nothing that Saul could do to stop him, right? He had to listen to a prophet. Same thing with David. David, when he slept with Bathsheba and tried to hide it, guess what? A prophet came up to him, and it was cold the way he did it too, because he didn't tell him straight up. He told him about how the man had nothing in the village or the kingdom, and I believe it was a lamb, and he loved that lamb as if it was his own child. And a rich man came about and took the last bit of what he had. And David was so wroth with it. He was so angry, like, how dare they? We're going to have this person annihilated.
Right.
And then guess what happened? It was so cold. He looked at him and said, oh, that's you. You're the rich man who took from the poor. You already had the kingdom. You're King David. You can have all the wives you want. You command an army. You run a country.
Right.
Right? But you saw what another man had and chose to sin. And for what? And guess what? He had to suffer through that. He tried to fast. Thankfully, the Lord didn't take his life, but he took his child's life, though. Or when Samson. Samson was sleeping with that Hamite prostitute. Samson the strong. I think a lot of brothers fall victim to this mess. He ended up messing with a harlot, and that was like the first lick in the Bible. Salakia. That was the first lick, and he died. He took some people with him, but he died. Why? Because they all disobeyed the Lord. You understand? They forgot the Lord. They chose to turn their back on the Lord.
Right. And
because all these great men, a lot of men that were greater than you and me, they fell short.
Right.
Right? Because they chose to turn against the Most High. You should understand the gravity behind that. You shouldn't turn your back on the Most High. Because the Lord never forgot you. So how dare you forget the Lord? Right? Who's this young man, Brian? Shalom Old Christ. You should never forget the Lord, because the Lord he has never forgotten you, and he will never forget you. That's why you should listen. You should listen. Let me get what believes Malachi 2:7.
The book of Malachi, chapter 2, verse 7. For the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law at his mouth. For he is the messenger of the Lord of hosts.
Again, cut. The Lord has always had a prophet do his work.
Right.
We're servants of the Lord, right? The whole point of us is to save you. The Lord saved us. We love you so much, we want to save you too. The Lord wants you to be saved, but you got to listen though, okay? If you truly love your people the way you say you do, you have to listen to the law, statutes, and commandments. Because we really, like, Everybody knows the basic stuff. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Like stuff like that, right? This is basic stuff. The Lord is literally conducting, or it's like you're telling you how to conduct yourself, how to be a good person. That, like, realistically, you're just being a good person.
Right.
All right. If you don't want to be a good person, okay, well, don't be mad when bad things happen to you. It's really quite simple when you think about it. Brotherhood is a basic concept, and it is you should be ashamed of yourself that there are other nations who don't have the Most High on their side, and they have better brotherhood than you.
Right.
That's sad. You, like, I don't know about you. Me as a child of God, I believe I'm embarrassed. I don't know. I think that's what, like, we don't have enough embarrassment. Like, we need to bring shame back. Yeah, right. Wow. We need to bring shame back. Okay, it's shameful how we conduct ourselves. It's shameful that we do not protect our women. It's shameful that the sisters don't look out for their man. It's shameful that you are not a good brother. That you're not a good father. That you're not a good friend.
Right.
You should be ashamed of yourself. That's the problem. You're not ashamed of yourself. You have no problem being wicked, and that's why you have no right to go out there and complain about the problems that are happening within the Black, Latino, and Native American community, because how dare you? How dare you ask the Lord to love you when you don't have it in you enough to at least love the next man next to you? Love the sister next to you.
Right.
You can't even do that. So you really need to, they call it soul searching. You really need to reevaluate yourself, is what I would tell you, right? I don't want to sound worldly. It's like you need to reevaluate yourself and understand what it means to love, and knowing who your enemy is. Stop trying to befriend your enemy. Think about it. You done served Esau for how long? I'm not even talking about just brothers who serve in the military. I'm talking about, like, just anybody. You work at their jobs, okay? You pay taxes. You know, taxes are illegal in other countries. It's not even a thing. Like, it's really robbery. They just legalized it. That's all. They legalized sin. Crazy.
Healthcare.
Yeah, healthcare. I forgot what country. Damn. Saudi Arabia. I think it's like South Korea. South Korea. I found this out. South Korea. So when their women, after they get pregnant, they are allowed to have kind of like, I want to say like a nursing home kind of thing. Like, okay, so they get like a nanny. So the nanny comes in there and pretty much like helps take care of like the child, everything. But it's like, I believe it's like free. So I'm like, what? But again, what you got?
They do it. I think it's Finland or maybe Scotland.
I think you're right. Scotland does that, I think.
You get paid the same wages you would get paid if you was working.
Yeah.
But you don't have to go to work, so you can stay home for, I think it's a year. Then you stay home for a year and not have to work and get paid the same amount of wages you're going to get paid. The government just pays that.
So it's like better unemployment, pretty much.
Basically.
But again, that's their people, though. So they're looking out for their people.
Right.
That's the whole thing. Like all these other nations, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't blame them. It's going to sound weird, but bear with me. I don't blame other nations for being racist. I'm going to tell you why. Because they love their people so much, they're like, no, we're not gonna rock with you. I'm worried about me and mine. Right. I'm not mad that the Indian man loves his people. Good for you. I'm not mad. That's your people. I'm not even mad at the white man loving his people.
Right.
That's your people. Okay. So why can't we do the same? Why? Why is this so hard? I know why it's hard, realistically. It's because, we've been brainwashed. We've been told lies. A lot of us come from, let's be real, a lot of us have PTSD and don't even know it.
Right.
Trauma, generational trauma, all right, broken homes, etc. I found out recently the main cause of black on black crime is actually self-hate. And the way it's crazy how they do this. The reason why there's so much quote unquote black on black crime, right? Okay, who has the lowest income in America? It's black people. Black people make up about 13 to 13.5% of America. Now, when you have a low income, where are you going to live? You're going to live in predominantly, poor neighborhoods. It's already been proven, again, statistically, that low income neighborhoods have a higher crime rate. It's also been stated that thieves, robbers, whatever you want to call them, are actually more likely to go into a poor community and rob people, because when you go into a rich community, the security is tighter.
Right.
What is it like that? They be having like the neighborhoods, like the neighborhood watch, stuff like that. So they're like, I'm not gonna risk it. I'd rather just go over here because they know that you ain't got protection like that. It's Black people, right? Then you grow up in the broken homes. Your mother's a monster. Your daddy not around. So what starts to happen? You start to look for an emotional outlet. That's why a lot of Black people, be real, emotional. A lot of us are emotional because you got to let it out somehow, right? And we're groomed to not like ourselves. We think being smart is being white. That right there is already like, because it's like, if smart is white, what is Black?
Mm-hmm.
You get my point? So we're conditioned to do these things, even with sisters like the wigs and stuff. Like, what was it? Brittany Renner. I saw that interview with her and what's his name? Was it Shannon Sharp?
Yeah,
Shannon Sharp. And honestly, I really wasn't that surprised because she had the wig. It's a blonde wig. A lot of sisters, you don't have straight hair. You have curly hair. Okay? But again, self-hate. It's self-hate. You don't like each other. So combine that all together. Low income, PTSD for the most part, trauma. You're groomed to not like each other.
Right.
And just like in the wild, I try to use this analogy. When you're in the wild, I watch like those like animal documentaries and stuff. When there's not enough food within the vicinity, what do animals do? They fight. They fight because there's not enough food to go around, but they got to survive, right? It's the same thing when you live in the ghetto. You got to survive. You might not come from that background where you got a lot of money and stuff like that. So what are you going to do? You're going to grind. You're going to sell drugs. You're going to prostitute yourself. You're going to do these things because at the end of the day, it's like you got to survive. Even if it costs you your own humanity or the life of somebody else who is somebody just like you. It's self-hatred. If I may, sir, Stockholm syndrome and things we practice in our lives continuously, we hate ourselves. Exactly. We hate ourselves, right? You don't love. We talk about love each other. You can't even love each other because you don't love yourself. Is that something? Right? But that's okay. This class isn't meant to bash anybody. We're not trying to talk down to anyone. We want our people to wake up and understand that there's a deeper issue going on, right? You have lost your way to the Most High. And because you lost your way, we were talking about this not that long ago in our last class, I believe. Salakia. No matter where you go, so-called Blacks, Latinos, Native Americans have always been a very spiritual people. There's something in us. We always looking for some type of spirituality. But because we're so misguided, what we do, we become Muslims, we become Christians, we become Roman Catholics, we become, astrology. Don't even get me started on that one. Y'all start worshiping rocks. This rock gives me energy. No, it don't.
Rock's crazy.
The rock one is really wild. Honestly, when you really think about it, the zodiac one is really wild too. Like, you was born in this month, so you're a fish. And you have these characteristics. You don't even know me. Like, what are you talking about? You don't know my background, nothing. So how am I this? Or they be like, what would sisters be saying in the world? Are you a Leo? I can't talk to you. I'm like, okay. Like, literally, sis, that could have been your husband, but he's a Leo. You don't like him. That's crazy.
She'd be like, I knew we was gonna be good friends because you a Pisces.
And then y'all don't even like each other. You don't even like each other. Salakia. But it's sad, but everybody's looking for some form of spirituality. And it's like it's never satisfying.
Right.
That's what I'm always like, it never quenches your thirst. Because you haven't found it. You haven't found it yet. So you're looking and you're looking and you're looking and you're looking. Just when you thought you found it, that's not good enough. Now I'm gonna do this. Now I'm gonna do that. Well, we don't gotta do that here. We know what a home of the truth is. And ISUPK under Commander Junior Hana, right? Who's been doing this since 1969. We understand the concept of what real love is. We understand that sometimes you gotta suffer for your people.
Right.
You gotta communicate. All right. There's a lot of habits as a people that we have to stop, like the colorism. Like the Lord don't care about the shade of your skin as long as you Israel. Stop doing that. You need to stop hating your brothers for like the smallest things. Stop holding in stuff. Right. I know a lot of brothers are guilty of that because I know a lot of us we weren't taught to, let's just keep it a buck, express our emotions but in a masculine way because we're always taught like that's weak.
Right.
No, you can talk to a brother. I ain't saying start boo-hooing. I ain't saying that.
Right.
I'm not Salakia. Not trying to poke fun at nobody. I'm saying but if like for real, if it's really that big of an issue, get counsel. Like seriously, get counsel. But talk to your brother. If you feel offended, like I think a lot of brothers suffer through this, especially like new brothers in the school. You're afraid to offend your brother if you let him know that you might have been offended. Don't do that.
Right.
Don't it's okay. Communication is a very big thing, right? How can I know if a brother got a problem with me if he don't tell me? I'm thinking everything cool, and one day you're looking at me like, I'm like, what I do? Nah, you good? No, tell me. I don't know. Tell me. I don't know if I offended you. My bad. I might have not even known I did anything. It's
right.
Like, and vice versa. I can't do that to you. I can't do. Like, if it's really vexing me that much, okay, it's like I got it. It's like, sir, can I talk to you real quick? Okay, the water. Easy. Right. That's that. Don't feel like that is not masculine. That is masculine. What is feminine is for you to hold it in and get emotional. Oh, passive. I can't stand that. It's like it. Passive aggressiveness. Don't do that.
Right.
Don't be that brother with a chip on his shoulder. Don't do that. Sisters too. I know it's Brotherhood class. We're talking to you too. All right. We know that you're a sister, and we know, paraphrasing that the woman is the weaker vessel, but that's okay because women seek leadership. Stay in class. Stay in the school. You need guidance, go to your camp leader. If you need to go to the generals, go to your husband, right? Do that. All right. Get the guidance that you need because the Lord, I'm paraphrasing, this is in the Apocrypha. The Lord likes a woman who is well instructed, right? That's what he wants for you. We know you're emotional, but you ain't gotta be like in the world. Don't do that. Don't do that, right? That's sisterhood. You communicating, right? Because maybe you didn't get that. Like sometimes we forget that sisters are oppressed too, right? The black man got it hard, Latino man got it hard, Native American man got it hard. Well, sisters got it hard too, and they need a leader. They need a man around. Some of them, they ain't got that, and they feel like they got to fend for themselves. But in here, you ain't got to do that, right? Communicate, talk to each other, okay? Talk about what's wrong, and then literally, everything's all said and done. You move on from it. Now y'all cool, right? That's a demon that's attacking you if you don't want to talk. Don't do that. It's going to bottle up, and then it's all going to get let out. And then a lot of people say things that they don't mean when they're angry. You don't want that. Because now you're in the wrong. Right. My point was Salakia. That's the whole point of the class. You're supposed to know who your enemy is. We address who our enemy is. It's these other nations. It's Esau. He has his hand in a lot of stuff. And it's caused us to be very unbrotherly and very unsisterly towards each other. So you need to break out of that. How do you break out of that, though? You come to the ISUPK under Commander Junior Hana. You tried everything else. Trust me, we know. We tried everything else, too. All right? We were seeking leadership, too. And then we got here and we're like, yeah, this is it. All right, we're going to stay here.
Right.
That's it on that. But Salakia. The water for everybody that tuned into class. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe. All right? Always practice brotherhood. Always practice sisterhood. All right. And study to show thyself approved. All right. But with that being said, I'm going to close the class. You get to peace and outside. Latazah.
This is the ISUPK security announcements.
Go ahead. We
are the ISUPK starting out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers the 18th chapter, the 21st verse. Malachi the 3rd chapter, verses 8 through 10, means tenth in the Hebrew, my Asherah. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations, it will be the closing of the Feast of Tabernacles this Saturday, October 7th. This Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, 34th verse through 44th verse. Akim and Akwaf, check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black. Boots, shirt, pants, headband, scarf.
All right.
With that, we'll give one courtesy salute to the teacher, Men of Israel Elijah. Amayim Shabbat, Amayim Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shabbat.
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shabbat.
With that, class dismissed.